Hello humans, it's just Martine, and today we're going to be talking about how my chronic illness affects my daily life. I'm doing this video now because October is Dysautonomia Awareness Month, and dysautonomia is the type of chronic illness that I have. I have a form of dysautonomia. Most people don't know what that is, and they don't know specifically how that affects my daily life, especially in college and like dorm living. So I'm gonna take a few days to show you, tell you things about it. I obviously can't cover everything in one video. So right now, it's actually a great example of a way in which having dysautonomia is a little weird, because I woke up this morning and I took my medicine and I've been drinking water. Then I had to do my laundry this morning because I couldn't be bothered yesterday. But if you've been around this channel for any length of time, then you know that I call doing laundry the laundry Olympics, because I live on the 4th floor of a building. The laundry is in like the basement of the building next door. So I have to go like down the stairs and to another building, and then that means I also have to come back up. I just picked up my laundry from the laundry room. My heart rate is still definitely recovering from that. It's like 96 right now. My palms are really warm, like they get when my body's having like trouble regulating temperature and stuff. So I'm just trying not to have like a pre-syncopal episode. I'm drinking my water. I've sat myself down. If it doesn't start getting better in the next few minutes, I'm gonna lay down on the floor to make it better, because I have to leave for class in like 20 minutes. So I also live in Florida, so it's like still extremely hot out, even though it's October, which does not help because my illness is like triggered by heat, among other things, but heat is a big one for me. One thing that I never think about how other people don't do this, is that on my Apple Watch, I have cardiogram so that I can continuously track my heart rate throughout the day, especially when I'm like going places and stuff around campus. Usually the Apple Watch only checks your heart rate every couple of minutes unless you're doing exercise. Like if it's set for you to do exercise, then it's like continuously measuring. So cardiogram basically uses that feature of it constantly going when you're exercising and says like, I'm constantly exercising, basically, so that it's like constantly checking. And that's really important for me, because when I have a pre-syncopal episode, it's because my blood pressure is too low. This can be like in general it's too low, or it can be when my heart rate elevates, the blood pressure doesn't come with it. I kind of need to know which of those situations it is so I can better track it. Also because sometimes how I need to recover, I've learned, is different based off of like what exactly is happening. So like if it's a certain time of day and my heart rate's not necessarily higher, but I feel not right, I'll assume my blood sugar is kind of low and that affected my blood pressure. Those are some of the things that I need to think about. But I'm just gonna sit here and recover for a few minutes, maybe put some like ice on the palms of my hand to cool it down, because it feels really gross right now. Here we are. It's approaching 3 p.m. and around 3 p.m.-ish, between 2:30 and 3:30 are typically the times in the day when I'm like most likely to have a pre-syncopal episode. I still haven't figured out why that is, but I've learned some ways to work around it. So one is making sure my blood sugar doesn't drop. So typically around this time I'll have a snack. I'm leaving for class in like 10 minutes, so on my way out the door I'll probably pop a couple of pieces of candy in my mouth. Salty snacks are like the majority of what saves me. So Takis are actually my favorite snack. They're really high in sodium content, and they're also spicy. So they have a lot of salt, which I need with my condition, and so that's a good quick way to get salt. But then also they're spicy, so they make me like chug water. The combination is perfect for me. 9 times out of 10, if I'm having a pre-syncopal episode and I'm in my room, I'm going to be eating Takis to help fix it, because that's more fun than taking a salt tablet to help mitigate it, right? So I was walking to class the other day and I started to get this overall like funny feeling, and usually when I feel off in any sort of major way, I check my heart rate on my Apple Watch, and indeed it was registering like pretty high. Another thing that I was experiencing as I was walking across campus is like I was feeling really thirsty, which is bizarre because I had been having water all day, and I also had my water bottle with me, and so I was drinking water as I went, and like there was just this overall dry feeling I could not get rid of. Like I was so thirsty. And then all of a sudden, like maybe 3/4 of the way to my class, I got this wave of exhaustion. Like I suddenly felt so tired. All I wanted to do was like lie down and fall asleep, and I started yawning like a lot. So I kept checking my heart rate, and again it was like a little high, yeah. And then I was also having troubles with my skin temperature. So I had those problems that morning before I left for class, where like my palms were warmer than usual and stuff. So my palms were definitely like warmer that day than is comfortable for me. That's the main spot on my body that like I feel overheating, is like when my palms are suddenly like way too hot. That's basically the feeling I was feeling. And then it was weird because during the class, once I got there, my heart rate would fluctuate a lot when I like stood up to go to the bathroom versus sitting down, which is always a little concerning. And then I was still so tired. Like I had slept plenty that night and I had felt good walking to class until I started feeling weird, and all of a sudden I was just so tired, yawning all the time. And this is a class that I usually don't ever feel tired in, and all of a sudden I like could not keep my eyes open. Like I was fighting so hard to stay conscious. I don't know how to describe it because it didn't feel like I was fainting, but it felt like I needed to close my eyes so badly, and I couldn't because I was in the middle of class, but I definitely didn't feel good. That's a description of one of the types of things I can experience. It's a few days later, and I wasn't going to document this because honestly, this is the last thing I think to do when I'm feeling this way, but I was like, oh, this is important to show. So today I'm having a really atrocious health day. Basically, what that means is like, on the whole, I seem fine. Like I'm acting no different than I normally do, but I've had like a continuous episode basically with really short breaks in between, so it could be seen as like 3 separate pre-syncopal episodes. They were really long, so it was basically just one really long one from like 1 p.m. to now it's 9 p.m. It's still here and I have to pack tonight, and moving around and like standing up again is the last thing I can think about doing right now. So I'm gonna eat a snack, chug some water. The only moment that I was really worried that I was going to pass out was when I happened to be standing like on top of a chair to film something during rehearsal, and I was like, this needs to happen now because I'm worried I'm a little too shaky for this. And everything was fine. I was keeping an eye on like my heart rate and stuff. I'm so exhausted and yet shaky and weak that I kind of just want to perish. It's really hard to describe, but I've just felt really terrible all afternoon. I don't know if that's because I forgot to drink as much water as usual or what, because I know it started because I didn't have a way to refill my water bottle during class and I was like out of water, and so, but my class was 2 hours long, so I sat there for 2 hours and then I had to walk back across campus and I didn't have water. I know that made it bad. And then later I was in public, so I had my mask on. I didn't want to take it off to drink water, and I was really warm because I was like rushing around and I had my rain jacket on and stuff. And then I know I kept forgetting to drink water during rehearsal, so I think it's probably just not enough water. But the thing is, like, I look totally fine, and it's so frustrating because like I have no way of conveying to you the way that I feel right now, and it's awful. Like it's just an awful feeling, but I thought I'd hop on and share. So I'm kind of feeling defeated now because it's an ordinary Wednesday, and I often have episodes on Wednesday afternoons, at least this semester, because I have a 3:30 class, which means I walk all the way across campus around 3 p.m. and then I also walk a bit farther for dinner because it's like a specific night of dinner on campus, somewhere on campus. So I get it, I'm like outside in the heat more on Wednesdays, the times where it's warmer out, but I felt like I did so much right today. Like, yes, I did have a caffeinated beverage at lunch. It was soda, so it wasn't that much caffeine, but I also made up for it in water. I had 2 salt tablets before leaving for my class, so usually I just take them in the morning and then I take them as needed, so I could feel that things were like maybe sitting a little weird, like I wasn't having an episode, but I wasn't feeling perfect. So I was like, you know what, it's Wednesday around this time, I usually get them, so I'm just going to be proactive. I took 2 salt tablets, drank some more water, and then I had a snack before I left to make sure it wasn't like my blood sugar that was messing me up. And even still, by the end of class and then on my walk home, I started having an episode. This is more of a like stereotypical one. The one I had several days ago that I filmed about, my heart rate was really high and it was very much a feeling that I wanted to fall asleep. Like I needed to fall asleep. Very all of a sudden, like the fatigue just washed over me. My body was like pulling me downwards. But this is very much like, I feel like I'm shaking. You probably can't see, but I'm shaky and weak feeling, like my grip doesn't feel strong. I don't know how else to describe it. Even if it is fully strong, it like feels weird, and it just feels like I have a shot of it, like adrenaline or epinephrine running through my body. So I just feel like weak, panicky. Like, it's not anxiety, but it's a feeling that very much sends my body into like survival mode, because it is my autonomic nervous system, and so it is fight or flight mode, and right now it's like, you're under threat. So it's freaking out. Even though I'm not under threat, I'm totally fine. I don't know why it's doing this. My blood pressure is probably low, but I don't really have a way of checking that right now. I wanted to like fall out on my way home, not in the sense that like I genuinely thought I was going to pass out. Like, I knew I wasn't going to lose consciousness, but it's very much this feeling of just like, I could just collapse right here and that would feel so much better. Even though like falling down with my backpack on me and stuff onto the concrete would definitely not actually feel better, but my brain is just like, ugh. I don't really know how to make it stop, like whether it needs time. I'm like chugging water. I don't know if I need more food, but I don't feel like that's it, and I'm going to dinner soon anyway, so I don't want to ruin my appetite for it. It's really hard when I have an episode right before I'm supposed to have a meal, because it is such a panicky feeling. My body is like, give me everything until something works. Then it's kind of like, so then I tend to eat a lot to try and figure out what my body is missing in that moment. Once things calm down again, and I'm like, oh man, I'm really not hungry, I'm actually quite full. And typically by then it's mealtime, which is not helpful. There's also a bit of like a heaviness to my chest. I feel a little out of breath even though I'm not. It's getting to the point where my teeth kind of feel like they might start buzzing a little bit. I don't know if you get that feeling when like you laugh too much or you cry too much, so maybe you're not getting enough oxygen and then your like face is falling asleep. I don't know, I feel like that's going to start or something because of the inklings of that. I don't want that to happen, but all of a sudden my gums are like really sensitive, like I can feel them. I don't know, I just want to close my eyes and fall asleep, and I want to wake up feeling better. But I know that if I actually like slept right now, it would not feel good when I woke up. So I'm just keeping myself upright. When my head wants to go down, I just keep it up, drink some more water, talk to you guys. I really don't feel in danger of passing out. And that's why it's weird that it's a pre-syncopal episode. Is like, that implies it's pre-passing out, but it's a very specific feeling. And my sister and I have agreed on this a lot. We know the difference between like danger of passing out and just a pre-syncopal episode. There are similar feelings, like we see how they're connected, but they are also very different feelings. So like, I knew I wasn't in any danger coming home from class, otherwise I would have stopped. I just felt terrible. I don't know if that clears anything up, but it's really hard to explain what I'm feeling, but it's not good. Posting up, trying to get the blood from there to here. My brain. I am feeling a bit better being on the floor. Also tired. Fun fact from the floor time, because I was trying to look up pre-syncope and describe it to you. And it's really weird because I can't find anything that talks about these symptoms that like are pre-syncope for me, but the difference between like pre-syncope that I know is like not in direct danger of becoming syncope versus pre-syncope that is definitely in danger of becoming syncope. Couldn't find anything, but I did learn that my diagnosis is a neurally mediated type of syncope. Fun stuff, which makes sense because it involves my autonomic nervous system, but it was just interesting to read about the different types of syncopes. Heading to dinner, but my legs are shaking on my way down the stairs like I've had leg day or something, which I definitely have not. All right, I think I've documented this for a good enough amount of time for you to get an interesting range to see how my life works with this in college. It's really hard getting myself all the way to class, even though it is good for me to get up and moving during the middle of the day. It's always difficult to balance everything in my body because it just doesn't work right. Can't lie, like it's kind of difficult. I do think it has gotten easier since this summer when I got my official diagnosis. Finally, I took that step, and that's felt so validating to me. In my last video about my chronic illness, I mentioned how like I know what I have, but I wasn't diagnosed yet. And getting the diagnosis has been so freeing for me because there was a part of me that didn't believe myself before, that said, maybe you're making this up. Maybe it's all in your head. Maybe you're just being dramatic about the way that you feel and the things that you're experiencing. But then I did the test and it's there. Knowing that has helped me so much. And also feeling like I then have permission to do the things I need to do to take care of myself. So like taking salt tablets as needed, things like that. Like it just feels like it's easier to allow myself to do the right things for it now that I have the official diagnosis, which is so messed up. But like, it's hard to believe yourself sometimes in the things that you're going through, even though you know what you're feeling and experiencing. Especially, I think you've seen in this video, it's hard for me to articulate what I'm feeling. And that's just because they're like overall weird feelings, and it's messing with like a ton of different parts of my body because it's my whole autonomic nervous system that's like blah, 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 no. So it's really difficult to describe. That makes it feel like I'm making stuff up sometimes. I hope you learned something from this video. I don't know how it's all going to come together. I have no idea what I did and did not film. So if you liked it, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below. Happy Dysautonomia Awareness Month from me to you and you to me. And subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!